Hello, everybody. It's Sarah. I am Sarah Wood, founder of this page, which is called Sarah Wood. But I'm actually the founder of EmpoweredQueen.com. So that is the main purpose of this page. My phone is about to die, so I'm going to turn the outlet on. And we're going to have a just quick talk. So here's something that we've been doing in one of our groups, and then I kind of just put it out there to everyone. So I've been talking about it on my personal Facebook, which was so scary because that means I'm talking to like friends and relatives and people I went to high school with, and something about that is scarier than talking to people that I've met and built relationships with through online connections. Anyone else have that happen? Like, you'd rather connect to the people you chose as you got older than face the fears that come up when you're trying to converse again about something you care about with people that you grew up with and you have all those memories. So did that, went wonderful because people are generally pretty cool. And the challenge was this. I was thinking to myself about it, since a lot of the work I do is in the field of getting to understand, what it is that is so hard when it comes to just general personal self-love and self-care. What gets in the way? Like, it's our body, it's our lives. Why do we have these mental blocks and obstacles that come up for us when we're trying to practice new habits, when we're trying to nourish our body with foods that feel good, when we're trying to get movement in, get self-care in? And so much of it has a lot to do with our own mental programming, and meaning the things that we have grown up to think and believe about ourselves. And we get that messaging from a lot of places, especially from conversations that we engage in. And conversations that we engage in are coming from one-on-one conversations, group conversations, overhearing conversations, watching conversations on TV, watching conversations and interviews in magazines, following stuff that's going on social media. So these are all conversations. And so we get inundated with conversations, and then our fearful part of our brain gets a little uneasy about where we're not measuring up to certain things that come out to seem as though they're the standard and ideal. So if you enter into a conversation where someone is talking about ideal body, talking about dieting, talking about looking a certain way, talking down about someone who doesn't look a certain way, there's a part of us that internalizes that as, so having a certain body type makes you more worthy to other people, and not having that body type makes you subject to their judgment. And how often does this happen when you are constantly commented on by even people you know and love, like family, friends, family, seriously, family? Like, how often I know how much this happened in my family, especially when my mom would take us to visit her family back where she grew up. And I just can't forget all the comments that her dad and her siblings used to make about her body every time we would go back. And it was just normal. Like, she would receive the comment because it was normal. And then I remember growing up hearing those comments a lot about other people's bodies, and especially weight. And now there's this stupid, and I have a video on this too, stupid argument that people will present, where they will pretend that they're only talking about your weight because they're concerned about your health. And I have a total breakdown of why that's bullshit. And then if that were true, they would have to apply that to every situation, which they don't. Because we all do things every day that sabotage our health a little bit. But we're only attacking people who have a bigger body, because that's not why we actually are doing it. That's not why someone is being an a-hole to them. It's because they're uncomfortable. And a lot of times they have their own body fears, things that make them uncomfortable about their own body. And so when they see someone with a body type that they're afraid, like, that it's not supposed to be that way, like they've learned, like, bodies are supposed to look a certain way in order to be loved, they get fearful, because it's like their greatest fear is to have weight on their body. It's a silly fear, but it is a fear that a lot of people have because of the mental programming again. So Jessica, thank you for sharing the video. That was really nice. So I have a list of responses. If you are someone who receives these comments a lot, here's some ideas. I think they might help. One, stare at them and say nothing. Just stare at them and judge them as hard as you can. Like stare and maybe like squint your eyes a little bit, or do the like, really? Yeah. I'm judging you as hard as you're judging me. How uncomfortable would that make them? So, you could either do that, because the other response that I thought of that would be similar would be to like get out your bag or something and be like, oh, hold on. I gotta look for something. Oh man. Oh, it was the fuck I didn't give about what you think about my body. Or, and I mean, it's a little hostile, whatever. That's an option. How many people would maybe shut up if that was the reaction they got? Because most of the time the reaction they get is like complete, people are receiving it because it's almost like we feel like when someone is giving us a feedback, we have to take it. We don't have to take it. You don't. You didn't ask for it. You didn't solicit it. I think I was at dinner with my mom last night and she wanted to give me feedback on my love life. And I said, I'm not taking advice on that right now, but thanks. And she's like, well, you should. You never take my advice. I'm like, but if I want advice, I usually pay for it. She's like, well, you can pay me for it. No, I wouldn't pay you for it. So you can tell people you're not asking for their advice. So that would be another comment. I'm not taking comments on that right now, and my comment card box is full. So you'll have to come back later when it's not so full, which probably will be never. So never come back and never make that comment again. There's another response. You know what else would be fantastic if someone comes at you? Here's a comment my mom would receive a lot when we'd go home to her where she grew up. They'd say, oh, Barb, this is the fattest I've ever seen you. And she would usually talk about like how stressed out she was or how busy she was or all her love of chocolate. Like she had to justify it because that's how we feel, right? We have to justify it and explain because people need to know our explanation for having anything happen to our bodies that they're uncomfortable with. Like when I dyed my hair, I had to explain that to people. Oh, they were so annoyed. Certain family members and certain people in the community. So another response would be, I know, isn't it great? Someone comments on, oh man, you've put on some weight. Or, are you sure you want to eat that? Hells to the yeah, I want to eat that because I'm a grown ass adult and I can choose what to eat. And I'm okay with that. And end of story. Like, love the shit out of your body in front of them. And that might make them really uncomfortable, but they'll have nothing to say. They'll have nothing of value to add to that. End of conversation. So that's an option. And more seriously, I think some good conversation stoppers would be things like, I'm pretty sure it's absolutely none of your business. And here's what a lot of people will say. So here's a response to that. When someone responds, well, I'm just really concerned about your health. Don't you know obesity is an epidemic and it's costing healthcare taxpayers, blah, 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 and it's costing you money and it puts a strain on our society and blah, 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 blah. So if they do that, if they give you that line, here's what you can do. Follow them around and comment on every little slightly or intensely unhealthy thing that they do. Oh, you're wearing high heels today? Did you know that high heels cause pelvic floor issues and that you're going to probably have to get all these checkups done for your pelvic floor, your prolapse, your hip replacement, and that's costing taxpayers lots of money for healthcare. Seriously. All right, Jess, I'll see you later. Like, oh, you're going to put that piece of chocolate cake in your mouth? Like, did you know that the effects of sugar on your body and your immune system, and you could get sick, and I'm just really concerned about your health. It's just, yeah, like nobody does that. When it has, are you going to use that cell phone? Because I've heard that cell phones might lead to cancer, and it's just that I'm concerned about your health. Nobody does that. So they can shut up about this thing that they don't actually care about. And then the final line, and this one's super serious, and it's actually very easy to do. It's very genuine, which is the state of my health is between myself and my healthcare providers. that I choose. And that's it. How my health is right now is my business and the business of my healthcare providers when I make it their business. And that's it. So I'm not taking comments on that. I like that line. I am not taking comments on that right now. And leave it at that. And know that it's not you. It's them. It's them and their own insecurity around what they believe about bodies. And a lot of times you'll find that people who make a lot of these comments have a lot of self-hatred, or they're very self-conscious, or they have an eating disorder. They've had an eating disorder, and this is still a disordered way of eating. They endlessly diet and diet and diet for the rest of their lives because they live their lives in fear of fat, in fear of bodies, in fear of food. And you can look at that and say, I am so glad I'm choosing something different for myself, because there is a different way to be healthy, and it doesn't always look the same way for everyone. There's a different way to be healthy in your life, and it doesn't have to look exactly the same for everyone. And you know what? You can love them. You can love them, and you can show them the way that you're loving yourself and that you're trying a different route. You're trying self-care, self-love, moderation, whatever works, but also gives you peace of mind with food and your body so that you can live your freaking life and not be in your 60s and still popping diet pills. So And if you are that person, don't worry about that, because we all were there. Like, I understand, like, the torture of not having peace with food. It's absolute torture. So there is a place for everyone at any time in your life to transition to something different, because there is a different solution. And I strongly welcome anyone who wants to talk about that. So that's my take today. Thanks for popping in, and I will share this out on my personal page as well, but please do share. I welcome any comments. Feel free to private message me, or go to empoweredqueen.com if you want to see some resources we got there. We got a lot of free stuff. We got a free group even to support you. So I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care.